So this is my informative speech. These are guys from the office, my dad's work. They're all pretty, I know they're pretty chill, not going to be rowdy. So my speech is going to be about Guatemala. It's supposed to be informative, but it's more persuasive after I wrote it. So, Central America, it's a scary place. Its history, even most recently with their civil wars, makes it a no-go for Americans. It's violent and it sends even the most adventurous travelers running for the hills. But what if I told you now there is a country that has changed, it's become safer than ever, and has relations that are good with the United States for right now? Good enough safe for travelers to explore its diverse and colorful culture. Guatemala is now one of the safest countries for tourists to visit in Central America. There's no reason you shouldn't go. It is safe and clean enough for an enjoyable vacation, even for your family. And the government is stable enough to have overall improved the country, so you don't have to worry about the government corruption like when you go to Mexico. It's one of the best countries to visit for having so much internal turmoil. Guatemala is diverse with major geographical climates and landscapes, and the culture is rich and there are immense opportunities to learn and grow. So first off, the geography. I know this is a ridiculously small picture, so I'm pretty sure my teacher won't be able to see that, but this is Guatemala. In the north, it borders Mexico and Belize, and here's the Caribbean Sea. And then it borders Honduras and El Salvador, and here's the Pacific Ocean. Where I'm going to be going isn't actually on here, but here's Guatemala City, and Antigua is somewhere about there between Mazatenango and Esquitina. So I'm about 45 minutes from Guatemala City. So, and it's also very famous for having three different climates. The center part right here, I don't remember what they call it. It's the cool highlands. It's 5,000 feet and above sea level, and it's got the cooler temperatures, and most of the population is in that center part because it's easier to live there. It's not such an intense climate as far as tropical climates go. And then they have the tropical coast of the Pacific right here that connects to San Salvador and El Salvador and the Caribbean Sea right there. And then they also have the jungles, the tropical jungle, which is in the northern lowland, which is right about here. It's called the Piton. Also, it's known as the most dangerous part of Guatemala because they try to go through Belize right here or into Mexico to find work or anything really, because these countries are so impoverished, and then once they're into Mexico they can travel up and through and go to the United States because they're very porous borders all along there. So also it's about the size of Tennessee, so gives you kind of a little bit of an idea. It's not as big as I thought it was. It's the biggest Central American country, so while the rest are smaller than Tennessee, not Kentucky, you know. But the population is just barely 14 million, and there's 2 million in Guatemala City itself. That's a lot. And their money is the quetzal, and the quetzal is the national bird as well, and they used to use the plumage from the bird. It's brightly colored, and depending on whether it's male or female, they used it. If it's female and it's purple, it was more than like a yellow feather. And so now the exchange rate's about 20 quetzales for $2.50 US. So it's, yeah, it doesn't go very far for them, kind of like a wheelbarrow full of pesos. But the culture and people is another big thing. They're very cultural. Most of them are Roman Catholics, but some of them still practice the Mayan beliefs. The flag, which I ran out of ink, is supposed to be all blue, but they just recently, it's actually had two flags. Before, when they were having the Civil War, they had the people who were uprising, they had their own flag, the rebels, but this is the national flag because they're supposedly a democracy now. And they speak, for the majority, Spanish, but they have 23 other officially recognized languages. So yeah, there's Quiche and all these other ones I can't pronounce, but they're all from the Mayan culture. Their Independence Day is September 15th. That was just placed 2 years ago. Their literacy rate is 70%, which is up from 30% 2 years ago. So because they're bringing people into the colleges, and then people, like the trip that I'm going on, they're spreading out, and the missionaries are spreading out and teaching the kids that are coming up. So they estimate it to be about 70% this year, next year. So that's huge. And unemployment is 4%, but there's not very many jobs there. So that's why they come up through the borders. Their exports are mainly coffee, sugar, petroleum apparel, bananas, fruits, and vegetables. So either they work in factories or they work in agriculture, and that's really the only jobs that they have available. Their natural resources are obviously petroleum, nickel, rare woods, fish, chicle, the ingredients for gum, and hydropower. It's one of their major breakthroughs that they have, and it's also brought people in from around the world to help kind of bring that about, which brings up the literacy rate as well. Their major trading partners are the U.S., El Salvador, Honduras, Mexico, South Korea, and China. And they're working on a trade agreement right now with South Korea and China to make it easier for them to trade throughout them. And the U.S. had tried to make an agreement with them, and it fell through because we have a trade agreement with Mexico and Canada, and for some reason it fell through. So I didn't get that far. But also Guatemala has territory in Belize. That's still a civil war going on. So like I said, this area right up here with Belize too, that's also why it's really dangerous. There's still a civil war going there. So, and it offers tourists plentiful things. You can go to volcanoes. There's 33 volcanoes on the chain in the center part of Guatemala. There's 3 that are still active that erupt annually for the most part, but almost exactly to the day, so they can make sure people aren't on it on the days that it erupts, and they've had it down to a science. Foreign language colleges, there's 5,000 small colleges throughout all the tourist towns in Guatemala that are supposed to teach you foreign languages, mostly Spanish. Some is to study the Mayan culture, and there's also colonial towns like Antigua, where I'm going to go visit, where you can take a step back into time and see how the Spanish conquistadors had formed their own little colonies and everything. So there you have it. So, and then if you could just, I think you hit the same button.